Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Ansu Fati because there has been some conversations coming from Ansu Fati's camp that they are not happy with Ansu Fati's current status at FC Barcelona. We're later going to be talking about Marc Bernal returning to the squad very soon. And then lastly, we are going to be talking about Marc Casado, a player that went up with Marc Bernal at the beginning of the season, who is going to be out for the next 2 months. How is Barcelona going to combat that? All of this is going to be talked about for today's video. I hope you guys do enjoy it. And so let's talk about Ansu Fati first. It says here, according to some sources in Spain, there's a major concern within Ansu Fati's camp regarding the player's minutes. His environment, particularly his dad, have expressed their dissatisfaction around the situation. They say Fati is trying hard in training but hasn't been rewarded yet. Okay, so look, it's quite clear that when we compare Ansu Fati and a player like Rafinha is just miles better compared to Ansu Fati. Rafinha has been doing big numbers this season. He played 42 matches, scored 27 goals and provided 18 assists. Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys actually believe that Ansu Fati has the capability to improve on top of those numbers or even get close? This could possibly explain the reason why Hansi Flick does not want to use Ansu, because he sees a player that does not give the same goal effect that Rafinha does have. I'm gonna assume that Hansi Flick is looking for a left winger that knows how to take down multiple players. This is something that Ansu Fati cannot really do. Ansu Fati is much more of a poacher in the box. He's not somebody like Nico Williams or Leao or somebody like Musiala on the left wing position. Ansu Fati is more of a Eto'o than a Henry. So in terms of profile, I don't think that is what Hansi Flick is looking for. And the only reason why Rafinha has been able to start and score goals and provide assists, even though he's not that great at taking down players, is because he can attack open spaces and he runs back and forth many times, whether it's through the defense or going to the attack. Rafinha does get it done. And I have questions, right? Because what if that's one of the things and requirements that Ansu Fati has been missing during the training sessions, is the fact that Ansu Fati does not give the exact same intensity. Or maybe Ansu Fati could be confused about the tactics that Hansi Flick has been talking about. It has to be something, because Hansi Flick is a coach that does give his players chances. We have seen that through Frankie de Jong. It took a long time for Frankie to take away Marc Casado's position. It took a very long time for Gavi to become the second choice in the number 10 position. Dani Olmo is currently number 1. We can even talk about Ronald Araujo, a player that we all know is a great center back. He's very fast, very physical. He can take down players like Mbappe, Vinicius. We have seen him do that multiple times. But till this day, Araujo does not have a real starting position in the backline. And that is because in the beginning of the season, Araujo was battling an injury. And so it did take time for him to at the very least get a start. He finally did, but he's not at the same level in terms of minutes compared to how it was previously under Xavi Hernandez. Araujo still needs to put in a lot of work and fight for his spot and going over Kubarsi and Inigo Martinez. And sometimes Hansi Flick does reward those players. And so Hansi is not a coach that just says, oh yeah, like you're not going to play because you're just not my favorite and because this player here has a bigger name. No, Hansi Flick is a coach that says, okay, just show me that you can be just as intense as this player, score your goals, provide your assist, or if you're a defender, make sure you lock down those one-on-ones and that's it, like do your job. But if you don't do that, then you're not going to be in the squad. And so I do think that that is going to be the problem. Honestly, Ansu Fati has not been good enough during the training sessions. He does not see the intensity whatsoever. And maybe the reason why Ansu Fati was getting some minutes under Xavi Hernandez back in the 2022-2023 season and the season after that one, right, is because the level of the first team was not that high. Hence the reason why Ansu Fati saw some minutes. The competition was also not that high, and it was easier for Ansu to get into the left wing position and get some goals in. But because Hansi has raised Barcelona's level to like a 9 out of 10 instead of a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 over the past 5 years, that is why it has been harder for the player to make some appearances. As a matter of fact, we have seen Hansi choose Tony Fernandes over Ansu in the squad list. And so I don't know, is the time ending for Ansu? Because let me tell you, I honestly do appreciate Ansu's spirit for trying to do something at Barcelona, because it was said a couple of days ago that back in January 2025, Ansu did reject 4 different bids from different clubs and Barcelona were willing to let him go. But Ansu Fati said, no, I'm okay, I want to stay. And you do have to just imagine, right? Can you imagine how Ansu does feel right now, knowing that the coach does not count on him and they wanted to sell him, even though he does have the number 10 shirt? Like I would assume that he's feeling like, oh my God, like I was at the top of the world with all the dreams in front of me 4 years ago. And now look at me. I'm not even out here getting into the squad list. Like what happened to me? What's going on? I can't let this go. I have to fight for this spot. It cannot just all end like this. Can you imagine how Ansu does feel? So I do feel for the player. I really do. But as we all know, right, Barcelona must come first. I know that we do have love for certain players, but if those players do not give the required level, they're just gonna have to go. And after several years, like it's not like Ansu had one bad season and now we're just not counting on him. No, like we're retaining the player longer than we should. We have loaned him out. We brought him back. There was some potential here and there, but overall, he has not been able to deliver. So let me know in the comment sections down below, what would you do with Ansu for this upcoming summer? Because let me tell you, it's only going to get worse from here. Barcelona will sign a brand new left winger, and I don't know if that's going to be Leao. It could be Nico Williams. We'll see what the future does hold. Moving on towards the next conversation, and we are going to be talking about Marc Bernal, which is great news. Marc Bernal, according to Tony Juan Marti, is set to start training on grass in the coming days. His recovery is going very well. So if you guys do not know what happened to Marc Bernal, he did cure an injury against Rayo Vallecano earlier in the season, and it did happen on the 97th minute. Like, the game was supposed to be over 2 minutes before the 97th minute. It was supposed to end like on the 94th minute or 95th minute, but the ref gave extra minutes for some reason. We got into the 97th, and Marc Bernal collided with another player while he was trying to cover the right flank, and because he collided with another player, that is what led towards him tearing his ACL and damaging his lateral meniscus on his left knee. It was really, really bad. So this whole situation could have been avoided, but here we are, right? Marc Bernal, after 7 to 8 months, we're now in March, he's getting very close to finally returning. Hopefully Marc Bernal can come back and be at the same level, just like how Gavi did. Also, Florian Wirtz, he went through the exact same thing. If anything, he got even better after the ACL injury, and I'm just gonna assume that Marc Bernal will return at the exact same form, because especially when you are a midfielder, you're not required to retain the same speed or retain the same agility, etc. Marc Bernal is a central defensive midfielder. The last thing he does is sprint up and down. Marc Bernal was highlighted as one of the latest breakout stars from the Barcelona academy. Everybody was saying that he's going to be the next Sergio Busquets or Xavi Hernandez. I do see him as the next Sergio Busquets, and also because he has that style, right? Because he has those long legs, he is able to intercept so many balls and take away the ball from the opposition in general. I really do think that once Marc Bernal does come back, which will be in the summer, by the way, in time, maybe 4 months after that, maybe around October 2025, so later this year, he'll get consistent minutes, and I'm also going to assume that he'll even start. I do see a future that contains a double pivot of Pedri and Marc Bernal. That is probably the best double pivot Barcelona can ask for, because Marc Bernal has it all. He's somebody that can protect the ball. He's technically gifted, versatile, and intelligent midfielder, right? It's very important for you to be smart with the ball and what to do next after you do retain the ball. His ability to control the tempo of the game, distribute the ball effectively, is what ultimately made him stand out, and I can't wait to see how he does respond to this brand new Barcelona style of play that's very vertical. Let's remember 6 months ago when Bernal and Casado were both available, Marc Bernal was taking over Casado's position, right? Bernal was seen as the better player. So if we saw Casado this season, right, scoring goals, giving out assists against Bayern Munich, playing an exceptional game against Real Madrid here and there, can you imagine what Bernal could have done or what he will do in the future? He truly is a gem, and I just can't wait to see him back. If it was up to me, and if I was the sporting director, I would like to revolve the double pivot project around Frankie, Pedri, Bernal, and Casado, and nothing more. If it's just those 4 players, I will be fine with that. So speaking about Marc Casado, unfortunately, it has been reported and it is official that Casado is going to be out for 2 months. So unfortunately, yes, Casado did suffer a partial tear of the lateral collateral ligament in the right knee during a league match against Atletico Madrid back on March 16th, which means that at the moment we have Bernal out, Marc Casado out, and Ter Stegen out with injuries. And this also does lead towards one thing. Now that we know that Casado is out, obviously we have Frankie, we have Pedri, and we also have Eric Garcia. We do need another player to reinforce those 2 positions, and I do think that somebody that needs to come back immediately, it is Andreas Christensen, a player that is yet to even play under Hansi Flick. I think that he got like 1 game under Hansi, but that's it. Like, there is nothing more, and I do think that having Christensen back in place for Marc Casado would really help the squad overall in terms of depth and rotation, because Christensen knows how to play as a CDM. He was instrumental to Xavi Hernandez's Barcelona last season, and he contributed great offensively and defensively. So Christensen, bro, like, if you're hearing this, come back as soon as possible, because we do need you. And I'm gonna assume that he'll return just in time after the international break is over. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.